Welcome to Life Expansion After 50. I'm going to talk about what I do for fitness, and it's grounded in wanting to have a fulfilling age 80 to 90 to 100. And it starts in the 50s. Now, what I'm going to talk about may not resonate with somebody in the 50s, but it's coming. The same way that in the 30s, people could talk to you about what was coming in the 40s, and it's often described as it takes more time to recover. But it's a lot bigger than that, but it's masked by other factors. And then in the 50s, people feel like, well, maybe I lost some flexibility, maybe some pop, right? Some quickness. And then in the 60s, we start losing strength. And in the 70s, we lose mobility. But what I've been able to do is unpack that and talk about it in terms of what's really going on from a neuroscience standpoint. And that's what I'm going to share with you. So if there's three categories, there's people who are fit and they stay in the gym, they're always working out, that's their routine, they have goals and they're hitting numbers. When I say that, what I'm talking about, most of us who've worked out in the 20s and 30s, we remember the draw that we got by getting to that next level, whatever that goal was. And those people will benefit from this as well, but my primary audience are people in this second and third category. The second category, that would be me. So I like to ski, snowboard, road bike, mountain bike, play. I just love doing activities. And if I'm engaged heavily in activities, I won't be in the gym. I use the gym to enable my ability to be active and play. But I also have a back of the mind goal of creating enough muscle mass, strengthening my bones so that I'm not frail at 80 and 90 and 100. That's very, very important, because we could take the aging line, and where it may have an inflection point where it starts downward in our 40s, we can push that out all the way to over 70. In my belief, I think we can push it out close to 80. And that's part of what Life Expansion After 50 is about, to start pushing on that and providing information so people can make their own choices. And then the third group would be the people who are sedentary. So what I'm going to talk about today, it really helps with the second and third group, but the first group is going to benefit. So again, the first group, active, been in the gym, goes to the gym regularly, hits the numbers, they're happy with their goals. The second group, and maybe even has a trainer. The second group, people who are on and off for a variety of reasons, whether it's work or, in my case, play. But the point is, there's always this start and stop. It's really helpful for that group. And then the third group is that group that is sedentary, hasn't really worked out. And this could include people who've been fit and they're not now, got caught up in raising families, working, etc. But if they got down on a bench, they couldn't press anywhere near what they used to be able to, and maybe have never bench pressed at all. So those are the three groups. And what I decided to do for Life Expansion After 50 is not document, but follow along, shadow my process for getting back on track. So we just finished the snowboarding and ski season. I want to get back to sprinting. Sprinting is so valuable. It helps mitochondria, builds testosterone for men, estrogen for women after menopause, serotonin, dopamine, mitochondria, BDNF. Sprinting is probably the best exercise for when it comes to building neurotransmitter, and that's the distinction I'm going to make today. But in order to start sprinting, I need to strengthen some things. I don't want to get hurt. You pull a hammy, etc., and then you're out. So it starts with doing some footwork drills, some bounding, some skips, just getting your legs moving, dynamic stretching as well as stretching. But sprinting is an all-body workout. It's the entire body. So we have to have some flexibility as well as strength throughout the whole body, or you're going to start having alignment problems. I've had neck injuries aggravated just from sprinting. And I started the sprinting in the 50s. I never ran track. It wasn't anything I did, but I knew the value of sprinting. And you can just look around. I mean, at my age, I look around and you get clues. And who are the most muscular people that you see in terms of athletes? And one of that group is sprinters. Sprinters always have this build. Now, do they get that through exercise? Probably, but also from the sprinting. The sprinting puts a demand on the entire body. So that's where what I'm going to talk about today is how I get to that point And this routine I'm going to do, and I just started the routine about a week ago. I laid off during the ski season. There's no excuse for laying off. I ski, I snowboard, I play, I do this. But this routine I've done sometimes for 6 months at a time, but you're going to see me, I'm going to document, and this will be sort of a documentation because I'll take recordings along the way. You'll see what I start doing, and I do it every single day. And here's the distinction. The reason I can do it every single day is because I'm not exercising to failure. I'm not exercising to get sore. I want to do 2 or 3 things. One, I want to spike my heart rate because that helps with heart rate variability, HRV. Look it up. Heart rate variability correlates strongly with willpower. As we get older, it seems like we have less willpower. There's a lot of factors there, but HRV is one of them, heart rate variability. So improved heart rate variability, it's just what it sounds like, that will improve your willpower as well as other things. I mean, remember, the heart is the core of what's going on. The brain thinks it's in charge, but the heart, to stop the blood from the brain's out. It also helps with neurotransmitter. So you probably have seen charts or data that says after 30 and then 40, testosterone is dropping and dopamine is dropped. Dopamine and testosterone both drops at least 1% per year, which means by the time we're 50, we're missing dopamine, we're missing testosterone, which makes it harder to build muscle. Now, testosterone is obvious, you need that to build muscle. What people don't think about is dopamine. Dopamine is very important because it's what gets you back into the gym. It's that, you know, in your 20s and 30s, you might recall, hey, if I could just get to the gym, then I'll be good. Once you start going and you see results, you get them. Problem with 50s, 60s, 70s is we don't always see results. You can go to the gym for weeks at a time and not see results. But part of it is because we don't have the adaptation that we do in the 20s and 30s. I used to think it was because we needed too much recovery. Now, recovery time does expand, but it's not the culprit. The culprit is neurotransmitter. We have a lack of neurotransmitter, dopamine, serotonin. Those are not brain hormones. Those are produced in the gut, but they're very important. So the short version is this. Your central nervous system, we'll call that the command center, that sends a signal through the neural pathway, and the neural pathway sends that to the muscle. But before it gets to the muscle, it has to go through this neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, and acetylcholine is what ignites the action, the contraction in the muscle. So you need glutamate, which is between the central nervous system and the neural pathway, and you need acetylcholine, which is between the neural pathway